Good evening and welcome to the November 7th Council meeting. If you would please stand, Councilman Flores is going to lead us in the flag salute this evening.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chris. You may be seated. Okay, our first proclamation this evening is Purple Heart City. I'd like to call up Commander Michael Huizar from the American Legion Post 299, Dennis Murillo, who's also a commander, Veterans of Foreign War Post 11546. Myra Pratt, Community Services, Parks and Recreation Manager of the City of Chino. Myra? Okay, and the proclamation reads, whereas the citizens of Chino have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served their country and this community in the armed forces. Veterans have paid the high price of freedom by leaving their families and communities and placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. The contributions and sacrifices of the men and women from the city of Chino who served in the armed forces have been vital in defending the hard-won freedoms and liberties of our Constitution that are treasured by our citizens. A Purple Heart is awarded to those members of the armed forces of the United States that have been wounded by an instrument of war in the hands of the enemy or posthumously to the next of kin in the name of those killed in action or those who have died of their wounds in service for their country. On December 3rd, 2013, the City of Chino joined the Purple Heart City program, which constitutes a series of cities along the Purple Heart Trail that honor those who have given so much in preservation of all of our freedoms. In reaffirming our commitment to honor Purple Heart recipients as well as our appreciation and admiration for their sacrifices, this proclamation solidifies our community's gratefulness to their service. And whereas to show we proudly stand as a Purple Heart City, 3 signs proudly displaying this designation have been placed in our community. One at our community building as part of the Chino Liberty Courtyard, and the other 2 on a prominent median along Central Avenue right in front of City Hall. This proclamation will be brought back every year going forward to remember the sacrifices made by so many and to reaffirm our commitment as a community to them. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Emiloa, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim and reaffirm the City of Chino's proud commitment to be a Purple Heart City along the Purple Heart Trail to honor the service and sacrifice made to preserve the freedoms we all enjoy today. Gentlemen, if you'd like to introduce everyone.
Thank you, Mayor. It's an honor to be here today. We have Dennis of the VFW is also a member at the Post. We have Alex Ortiz. He's also an Army veteran. And we have David Matoyer, who's also a Purple Heart recipient, along with Alex are also Purple Heart recipients. And so we're honored today.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, would you like to say anything?
Nope. Well, I think Madam Mayor said everything about the Purple Heart. But one thing, if you're not aware of what the Purple Heart Trail is, it starts at Mount Vernon, which is the birthplace of George Washington, who, of course, who initiated the Purple Heart, and it ends in Guam. It goes all the way through 45 states, plus Puerto Rico, and then ends at Guam.
Well, I know for sure we have another Purple Heart recipient in our community also, and that's Pete Garcia, who was one of our long-standing farmers in our community for many, many years. And I'm surprised Pete's not here with us this evening, because he usually is. But we also want to remember that Saturday is our Veterans Memorial celebration, also at 11 o'clock at the corner of 10th and B. So we would like a lot of the public to be there and help us honor our veterans. Okay, Michael, would you like to hold that, please? And then she wants to get a picture. Yes, go ahead.
One other announcement. We will be celebrating 100 years next year as a post in Chino, and we will be celebrating in April a century of heroes. So we'll be sending out some invitations to the city, but 100 years as a post in the city of Chino.
And Myra would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for your continued support. One way that the City of Chino acknowledges our Purple Heart recipients is we actually have a webpage at thecityofchino.org/Purple Heart, where you can go and actually fill out information to get your either loved one, or if you are the recipient of the Purple Heart, to be acknowledged year-round. And as the mayor mentioned, we do have our event this Saturday as well. Thank you.
You guys move in front. You're Purple Heart guys. Let's give these two guys a big hand. Purple Heart, both of them.
See you Saturday. You're welcome. Thank you. Next, we have the Great American Smokeout Day, November 16th. I'd like to call it Jessica Singletary, Community Services Parks and Recreation Coordinator for the City of Chino, and Matthew Solano, Police Officer for our Chino Police Department. Whereas November 16th, 2023 marks the 47th anniversary of the American Cancer Society's Great American Smokeout, a campaign designated to encourage tobacco users to quit on or before that day. The City of Chino's Community Services, Parks and Recreation Department, Police Department, and Teen Center partners with the Chino Valley Unified School District to provide programs that encourage young people to quit smoking or not start at all by promoting a healthy lifestyle and educating youth on the effects of smoking. Tobacco use is responsible for nearly 1 in 5 early deaths in the United States, which remains the leading cause of preventable disease, disability, and death, accounting for over 480,000 deaths every year, yet an estimated 28.3 million adults and 4.47 million middle and high school students continue to smoke cigarettes. And whereas each day nearly 2,000 people younger than 18 years old smoke their first cigarette and over 300 become regular daily smokers. While tobacco product use among U.S. youth declined, continued efforts are needed to sustain this progress and to prevent and reduce all forms of tobacco use. The City of Chino urges all tobacco users to demonstrate to themselves and their loved ones that they can quit on or before the Great American Smokeout. Therefore, I, Eunice Emiloa, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim Thursday, November 16th, as the Great American Smokeout Day in the City of Chino, and in doing so, support the American Cancer Society's mission to help create a world with less cancer and more birthdays due to less people smoking. Jessica.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So we're very excited to be hosting our Great American Smokeout event at the Teen Center on November 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. There's going to be a variety of different booths for teens to attend, raffle prizes, free food, desserts, and also a presentation by Chino PD. We're inviting all teens within the community to stop by the Teen Center and visit, participate in the event. We're also partnering with Ramona Junior High After School program and getting those teens shuttled to our center to ensure that they're part of the event as well.
Hi, well, good evening. I'm Matthew Solano. I'm the DARE officer for the City of Chino. It's actually our first year bringing DARE back, so it's been absolutely incredible. DARE focuses, it actually stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education, and it focuses on teaching young students the dangers of smoking, the dangers of drugs, and enables them and gives them education to be able to make better and safe, responsible decisions. We'll be going over that at the Great American Smokeout. I want to thank you guys for your continued support, and I look forward to basically continuing education to our youth, so thank you.
It'd be nice to be a smokeless city, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's give them a hand. Next, we have Law Enforcement Records and Support Personnel Day, November 14th. I'd like to call up the City of Chino Police Records Technicians, Elda Torres, Laura Duenas, and Carla Rubio. Chief, I was going to say you need to join us too. And
Come on up, Chris.
And the proclamation reads, whereas the Chino Police Department and law enforcement agencies throughout the state depend upon law enforcement records and support personnel to provide them with vital services. The Chino Police Department Records Unit and support personnel throughout the department are crucial to helping identify, pursue, capture, and process suspected lawbreakers. These professionals continually use their expertise and experience to assist in identifying and tracking felons, maintaining accurate crime statistics, and improving apprehension strategies. It's important to recognize California's law enforcement records and support personnel for their valuable contributions to our law enforcement system and to public safety. The State Executive Board of California Law Enforcement Association of Records Supervisor has designated Tuesday, November 14th as Law Enforcement Records and Support Personnel Day. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Emiloa, Mayor of the City of Chino, in honor of records and support personnel of the Chino Police Department, do hereby recognize today, Tuesday, recognize that day, Tuesday, November 14th, as Law Enforcement Records and Support Personnel Day, presented this day, November 7th.
Thank you, Mayor, for the proclamation. So let me get an opportunity to introduce who we have here. We have records technicians Elda Torres, Carla Rubio, Laura Duenas, and we have technical services Chris Corbin. So this is a very, very hardworking group, a very cohesive team that is a critical function to our law enforcement and disrupting crime in the community. They process thousands and thousands of police reports every year, handle vehicle releases, put reports together to send them up to the district attorney for prosecution. They answer phone calls coming in from the community. They service the front desk and take reports at the lobby. So a very hardworking group, and it's a great way to honor them this week for Records Appreciation. So thank you, Mayor.
And without them, you wouldn't be as successful.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
We all know, without the proper records, sometimes we can't do our jobs. So thank you very much for supporting everyone in the PD. You're welcome. And present this, and then a picture. Thank you again. Next, we have our Business of the Month Award for November. Every brick and mortar store provides a need within the community, but this business fosters community connections, provides a cozy gathering spot, supports local businesses, and offers a sweet escape, enhancing the ambiance of the neighborhood. For the month of November 2023, we would like to recognize Painted Dough as our Business of the Month. I'd like to call up Representative Owner Danny Terong. Please join me up in front, Danny, and your family. Would you like your family to come up too? Yeah, no, she can come up.
Does she want to come?
Yeah,
Okay.
come on. Now, your daughter's not going to put down her little iPad,
Can I
so.
put her on a chair then?
No,
Oh,
she
just
can
bring her
come
in?
up.
Okay, that's fine. Like
But
that.
she's not going to look up.
Yeah, I know, she's busy.
I know she's busy. Although only 8 years old, this business has quickly become a Chino icon. In addition to their famous donuts, they offer unique coffees, matcha tea, breakfast burritos, breakfast sandwiches, and so much more. Painted Dough prides itself on spreading love and kindness through special events such as their recent Spooktacular Craft Fest and youth charity events designed to bring the Chino community together. Not only does Painted Dough give back to the community, but they prioritize purchasing goods and ingredients from local businesses to support Chino and their neighboring local businesses. When asked why Painted Dough chose to open their shop in Chino, Danny said, because we love the community of Chino and love how everyone works together to create a brighter future. Let's please congratulate Painted Dough for being our November 2023 Business of the Month. Please accept this plaque, which reads, congratulations to Painted Dough, November 2023 Chino Business of the Month. The City of Chino thanks you for being a part of the Chino community. And it's presented this day. Actually, it was October, but we couldn't get you here.
Yeah.
So, Danny, would you like to say a few words?
Yes. Hi, everybody. First of all, I am truly blessed to have this award, and first of all, I want to share a quick story about how Painted Dough got started. So 8 years ago, God called me to Chino, and my first question was, where is Chino at, right? And then I ended up in Chino, and then 3 months later, Painted Dough was open. So I was given a dream to create a place where communities can unite, where anybody of all ages can come together and share creations of limitless, of infinity, of whatever that we create at Painted Dough. It's all from our hearts, and we want to just share and give that experience that you guys have never experienced on earth. So through the whole times of the 8 years, we met so many amazing individuals that came through our doors, and a lot of them became my family, you know. I got my mama in the back, I got Richard, I got Lisa up there, and I got my brother, Captain up in front. Thank you so much for keeping me safe every morning to check up on me, make sure I'm awake and baking my donuts. Not to get donuts, but just making sure I'm safe. I want to thank you, bro. Thank you so much for this. And thank you, everybody, for giving me these opportunities to serve the city of Chino and for me to impact the youth of whatever way that I can to partner with You Choose, Chino PD, Chino Fire, anything that I could serve. I try to do the best that I can. And we just getting started, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. I love y'all.
I think Danny needs to be a little bit more outgoing. What do you think?
Can I have a picture with you?
Well, she's going to take a picture.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, introduce your daughter and your wife.
Oh, so this is my wife, Ingli, and is my beautiful daughter, Kiana.
And she does really look up once in a while. I saw her.
Can I take a picture first?
Picture time. Right there, turn around. Smile. Smile.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Over the years, there's always been the jokes about police and donuts, so now you know if you want to find some of our officers, go to Painted Dough. That was adorable. Okay. We did have a closed session prior to the council meeting. I'd like to ask our attorney to give a report out of that meeting.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and all those present. The city council met in closed session as announced by the mayor and discussed the 2 items listed on the closed session portion of the agenda, beginning with item number 1, conference with legal counsel, 1 item of existing litigation, the matter of Harvey Allen II versus Chino Police Department and additional parties. City council received an update to the status of that matter, provided direction, and no further reportable action was taken. And the city council also met on item number 2, conference with labor negotiators concerning all of the employee organizations previously announced and listed on the agenda. Following a discussion and a briefing, city council provided direction. No further reportable action was taken. That concludes the report, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Reich, do we have any additions or revisions to the agenda?
No changes, Mayor.
Okay. Next, under information, included in our packet is the Economic Development Report. I encourage you to access that online and read it. It has some very interesting information. Next, under public announcements, I'm honored to invite you to the City of Chino's annual Veterans Day ceremony. This event holds immense significance as we gather to honor the brave men and women who have served our nation with unwavering dedication and courage. The event will take place Saturday, November 11th at the Community Building located at 5443 B Street. The ceremony will begin at 11 o'clock. This is a chance for us to come together, express our deepest gratitude, and pay tribute to the sacrifices made by our veterans. For any additional information, please contact the Carolyn Owens Community Center at 909-334-3258 or visit www.cityofchino.org/Veterans Day. Please note that City Hall will be closed in observance of Veterans Day on Friday, November 10th, and will reopen on Monday, November 13th at its regular operating hours of 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Secondly, bring your furry companions and be part of the Possum event, Bark Around the Ayala Park, presented by the City of Chino and Chino Valley YMCA. This tail-wagging celebration features pet vendors, adoptions and demonstrations, a dog fashion show, photo booth, raffles, and more. The event will take place on Saturday, November 18th from 9 a.m. to noon at Ruben A.S. Ayala Park, located at 5575 Edison Avenue. For more information about this event, contact Healthy Chino at 909-334-3478 or visit www.cityofchino.org/bark. Next, be sure to join us for an event that packs a punch. We invite you to the Gobbler Gloves Boxing Showcase, an amateur boxing extravaganza to be held at the Neighborhood Activity Center located at 5201 D Street on Sunday, November 19th. Doors open at noon. Tickets will be available for purchase at the door. Don't miss out on this exciting showcase of talent and determination. We look forward to seeing you there ringside. For more information, please call 909-334-3260. Chris, are you participating in this event?
Maybe.
Okay. And lastly, I want to make sure you have these holiday events on your calendar for the upcoming month. First, mark your calendars for the annual tree lighting ceremony themed Santa's Workshop, a magical evening happening on Saturday, December 2nd from 4 to 8 p.m. right here on City Hall lawn. Now, this is a difference in what we normally do. We normally have the tree lighting ceremony after or before a council meeting, so this is different this year. Come enjoy photos with Santa, free hot chocolate and sweets, Christmas carolers, cookie decorating, writing letters to Santa, and a craft corner. Then gear up for the annual Chino Youth Christmas Parade and Fair, with the parade kicking off at 9 a.m. on Saturday, December 9th, on the corner of Riverside Drive and Monte Vista Avenue, and ending at the City Hall lawn, where you can enjoy the holiday fair and carnival. Join us for these wonderful celebrations that capture the spirit of the holiday season. For more information on these events and all Chino events, please visit www.cityofchino.org/events. Next on the agenda is public comments. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on items that do not appear elsewhere. We have written requests to speak. Our first is we're going to be provided an invocation from Dustin Harrison from Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley. I'd like to invite you to please stand if you'd like and join us in an invocation.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's pray. Lord, I just thank you for our mayor and our city council. Lord, all those who help lead our city. Lord, your word commands us, Lord, to pray for them, to pray for those all in leadership and those in authority over us. Lord, I pray that you would give them wisdom and discernment. Father, watch over them and their families to protect them and guide them. Lord, I pray for our first responders, Lord, and as we've honored veterans tonight, Lord, we pray for them and their families, Lord. Lord, we thank you for businesses like Painted Dough that are there to not only sell donuts, but to reach the community, Lord, and be an example. And so, Lord, may you bless this city continually. Lord, may you watch over and protect. May you guide and guard. Lord, especially the youth, that's where my heart is. Lord, for that you would minister to them, that they would steer clear of the cigarettes as we talked earlier, Lord. And Lord, that you would protect and guide this city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Dustin. Next, we have Ms. Melissa Campania from Supervisor Hagman's office.
Well, good evening, Mayor, council members, staff, and of course, our city residents here in Chino. This is our last chance warning. We've got a big event coming up. I want everyone to know about it. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is Supervisor Hagman's Veteran Claims event. It's a very, very nice event. We hope to serve as many veterans as we possibly can. The county veteran service officers will be there to answer questions about existing claims, conduct benefit assessment interviews, complete claim forms and paperwork, issue San Bernardino County military veteran ID cards, good for discounts at a lot of local stores, and file compensation claims. Please bring your DD Form 214 for help, and all of these services are provided free of charge. So that will be the location of Supervisor Hagman's district office. That is in Chino Hills. The address is 14010 City Center Drive. And a barbecue lunch will be provided, so we look forward to meeting as many veterans. And we've got Michael out there cooking hamburgers and hot dogs, so it should be a good time. For any questions, please call 909-465-5265. And another big event Supervisor Hagman has asked me to please share with all community members of the 4th District. We're very excited that his annual Christmas open house is on the horizon. It's almost here. This year's open house will take place on Thursday, December the 7th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. It's very close to his district office. It's actually connected at the Chino Hills City Hall building at 14000 City Center Drive. There will be appetizers and holiday cheer. Once again, if you have any questions, please call 909-465-5265. And we are looking for an RSVP. If you know you're going to come, this is a free event, but we really do need to get an accurate head count so that we can make sure to have enough appetizers and holiday cheer for everyone. And if you get a flyer, can you see this? There's a scan code on there this year. Pretty clever. So you scan that, and it takes you right up to the reservation site. We're really getting with the times around here. All righty. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Melissa. Next, we have Monica Curiel from the Chino Basin Water Conservation District.
Good evening, council and community. My name is Monica Curiel. I am a program educator at the Chino Basin Water Conservation District. I know, Mayor, you're very familiar with our work, but for those who aren't, we are not water sellers, we are water conservers. So we are tasked with infiltrating water to replenish our groundwater that serves our area, our service area cities, of which Chino is one. And so we offer lots of free resources at our Waterwise Community Center located in Montclair. For those who haven't been, I invite you first there. It is truly a gem of a garden. I always call it the free botanical garden. Just go up Central, hang a left, and you'll get there right when you pass Monte Vista. So next week, Thursday, November 16th, we are going to be hosting a very special event. It is the first time we have a Loteria Gallery evening. So we've made some huge changes to our lobby. So if you've been in the past, come, new things are happening. And the first thing we're doing is featuring artwork that was created by one of our interns that tell the story of how we do our work. And so that evening, we will be featuring the artwork that she made for this very special Loteria deck. For those who don't know what Loteria is, it's a Mexican traditional game that is kind of like bingo, but I'd say a lot more fun. Maybe I'm biased. And so we will be playing the game. The only way to get your own deck is to come and win one, although I have a feeling that our GM would probably give you one if you came. And so we'll be playing the game. We'll have some warm refreshments, champurrado, pan dulce, and we'll invite our community to come and play and spend the evening with us. So again, that is Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30. I've got some flyers here, and we hope that you will come and the community will come and join us as well that evening. Can I?
Thank you very much. Okay, those are the written requests I have to speak. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Yes.
Good evening, Mayor. Actually, I came to support the donuts, but While I'm here, we wanted to publicly make an invitation to our 5th annual basketball event. We're hosting it as You Choose Positive Youth in the Chino Police Department. Every year since, 5 years ago, this is our 5th year doing it. We played, our boys from the community of Chino have played against the Chino Police Department in our fundraiser community basketball event, which will be held at Don Lugo High School this year. The time is 5:30 to 8:30. We will be having raffles, food, music. It's a great event to come out and play. Councilman Flores is also playing in that game. And every year since we started, the chief of police has played in those games. The JV games, not the older guys' games, you know, so. Well, they won last year, so. But this year, our guys are gonna put a schooling on the Chino PD, so we wanted to formally invite the community and you guys as well as to come out. It's a fun event where our boys play against Chino PD, and it's a fundraiser for our You Choose Positive Youth, and we're gearing up for holidays are coming up fast, you know,
Yeah.
so we're gearing up to raise funds to make an impact for the kids here in our community of Chino for Christmas. So please, if you guys aren't doing nothing that day, and we will be honoring our veterans too that day, so. But this is at night. I know there's a lot of things going on during the day, but if you guys could make it, just come out. At Don Lugo, 5:30 to 8:30. We have a couple games that day, and the main event probably starts maybe like about 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Come on out and enjoy a good basketball game. It's a fun event to come out to. Also, I want to invite you guys, if you're not doing nothing Friday night, Don Lugo football's in the second round, so you guys come out and watch them play. We'll be tailgating, and hopefully we'll get that win this Friday.
A lot of good things going on in our community.
So thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Now, we have a tradition here, and that is when there are students or Boy Scouts in the audience, they're required to come up and introduce themselves. If they're coming on behalf of a class that they're attending, they have to give us the school that they attend, the teacher, and the class that they're taking. So, and if it's a Boy Scout troop, then the badge perhaps that they're working on. So the mic is open, come on up. And we do have officers here. If you choose not to come up, they can help and escort you.
Hi, I'm Dresden Rose. I'm here on behalf of the Communication Merit Badge and Requirement 5, which goes over watching and viewing different points of a council meeting.
Okay, and what troop are you with?
We're all with Troop 202.
Okay, thank you very much. Pardon me? 202's in Chino, yeah.
Hi, I'm Ethan Wamholt, and I'm also Troop 202, and I'm working on communication.
Hi, I'm Damon Siri, and I'm from Troop 202, and I'm also working on the Communications Merit Badge.
Okay, well, gentlemen, thank you for being here this evening. Anyone else in the audience? Okay. Scoutmaster, would you like to say anything about your troop?
Good evening, I'm James Weimholt, Assistant Scoutmaster Troop 202 and Merit Badge Counselor for the Communications Merit Badge. So we're happy to be here, and hopefully we're looking for opportunities for the Scouts to learn about how the city works and hopefully see a little bit of debate tonight.
Great, thank you very much for being here. Now, is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council? Or any students hanging out somewhere that I didn't see? Okay, seeing none, then we'll move on to our consent calendar. Do any council members wish to have any items pulled for separate consideration? Okay, seeing none, then I would entertain a motion in a second. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm going to pull item number 1 or item number 2 since I wasn't here. We will handle those separately. Thank you. I didn't notice that. Okay. We have a motion from Councilman Burton, second from Mayor Pro Tem Comstock. Please vote. And the balance of the consent calendar passes unanimous. Now I would like to ask for a motion and a second for item number 2. Motion from Councilman Flores, second from Councilman Burton. Please vote. Okay, item passes 4 yes with 1 abstention, and that being my own. Next on the agenda are public hearings. Item number 18, introduction of ordinance number 2023-020, amending Title 12 of the Chino Municipal Code. This is to conduct a public hearing and approve the introduction of ordinance number 2023-020, amending chapters 12.02, 12.04, and 12.08 of the Chino Municipal Code. I declare the public hearing open and ask for a staff report from our Assistant City Engineer, Jesus Plasencia, and from our Director of Development Services, Warren Morleone.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Staff is proposing updates to chapters 12.02, 12.04, and 12.08 of the City Municipal Code. These chapters contain various regulations associated with streets, sidewalks, and other public property in the right-of-way, thus serving many purposes, including protecting city interests, as well as ensuring right-of-way dedications and public improvement construction occurs when determined to be necessary. Staff previously discussed the proposed revisions with council members at a workshop held on April 11th, 2023. There were 2 main directives that were given to staff by council during the workshop. The first is that Chapter 12.04 must continue to require the dedication of right-of-way whenever a building permit is issued for structural additions that increase the floor area by more than 5%. Staff has ensured this requirement remains in the proposed update to this chapter. The second directive was to ensure the next fee schedule update includes a waiver for developers of small projects, such as residential home additions, that may experience a financial hardship in paying fees for the preparation and review of right-of-way dedication legal documents. This second directive has been noted by staff. An update to Chapter 12.16 of the code was also intended as previously mentioned during the April 11 workshop. Chapter 12.16 covers regulations associated with street trees and other landscaping in the right-of-way. However, upon further review, staff determined it would be more appropriate to bring a revision to Chapter 12.16 before council only after staff prepares and submits for council consideration a complete update to the city's street tree master plan. A majority of the recommended revisions to Chapter 12.02, 12.04, and 12.08 are solely intended to further clarify the city's current process and procedures. Some of the more notable revisions to Chapter 12.02 include adding new policies related to street road closures and pavement restoration on moratorium streets. Requirements related to the construction of walls and fences in the right-of-way were also added, plus the process of issuing stop work orders, suspending or revoking encroachment permits, and implementing enforcement action for code violations have all been incorporated as well. In Chapter 12.04, the waiving of street right-of-way dedication was further expanded to include accessory structures such as ADUs and garages. The right-of-way dedication requirement is also revised to allow the city engineer to waive the requirement in those instances deemed impractical. Lastly, Chapter 12.08 has several notable revisions, including the addition of various enforcement provisions for code violations. Exceptions to the requirement to construct public improvements along a project's frontage is being expanded to include the construction of a single-family residential home or accessory structure. Exceptions were also added for commercial and industrial additions when the proposed additional square footage doesn't exceed 2,500 and 10,000 square feet respectively, and the addition doesn't constitute more than 50% of the existing floor space. Finally, the current language in Chapter 12.08 allows the city to enter into an agreement with a developer and place a lien on their property for the purposes of delaying the construction of street frontage if the developer's property is located in a block with less than 35% of the ultimate street improvements. This language would be replaced with new language that allows the city to accept an in lieu fee payment when the construction of street frontage improvements are determined to be infeasible or impractical at the time of development. Ordinance number 2023-020 outlines the various proposed changes suggested by staff, and therefore it's recommended that the council approve the introduction of ordinance 2023-20, amending Title 12, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places, to be read by number and title only, and waiving further reading of the ordinance. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jesus. Prior to questions or comments from the council, I'd like to see if there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item. Okay, did someone say something? Okay, then I would like to close the public hearing, ask for any council questions or comments.
Just a question, Mayor.
Yes.
Can you go over just the process of filling out that fee waiver for, those residents who are considering, adding an ADU or doing some sort of small project like that? What's the process like? Where can they find the fee waiver, and like what are the requirements, or, can you just go over that?
That's something that we're going to have to incorporate into a future fee schedule update whenever that will occur, because we don't have that in our fee schedule now.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I have a comment.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
Karen.
Go ahead, Chris. Did you?
Oh.
Hey, Seuss, I just want to thank you and staff and Warren for working on this. The workshop seemed like it's been not a long time ago, but when I was reading, I was trying to recall like all the things that we talked about at the workshop, and I know this is a lot of work, but I think it's a lot of cleanup. I think it's going to be helpful to our residents when they're doing improvements to their properties that are going to be helpful to them, both financially and help us, advance their projects, appropriately. So I just want to thank the staff for their work on this.
Just a comment. One of the reasons it did take a while is there was still a lot of back and forth that we needed to have, especially with the city attorney.
Understandable.
To really refine all the language.
I was just happy to see it come, and hopefully our residents are happy to see the work we've done here to help them as well. So thank you.
Sure.
Mark?
Yes, I know you guys are working on this to help them out with the fee schedule, but could you guys talk a little bit about some of the other things that you guys have done as far as some plans that you guys have made now available for residents in case they do want to build an ADU, that what we're offering them at no cost, and some of the things that we're doing?
Sure. So one of the things that that the city has done over the last couple of years is we worked on our housing element and updated that a couple of years ago. And as part of that provision, one of the things that the state has really been looking for cities to do is really promote the ADU component of housing, because there's a need for housing, and having that ADU component is providing affordable housing in a way for units in the city. And as part of that, when we started developing that process and working with ACD to kind of, let's figure out how to address their concerns in the housing element, we as a city determined the best thing that we could do to help promote ADUs. It wasn't a requirement, but the city decided, hey, we want to go out there and be one of those cities that go out and promote it so much that we develop what we call off-the-shelf plans. So what we did is we get a consultant together, we built a consensus on what type of product, the sizes, and the architectural styles, and we had them develop ADU plans that are, we call off the shelf, so somebody can come in and ask for the plans and actually get free plans of different ADU styles, ADU sizes, and take those home, look at them, decide which one they want to do, and then submit them to the city and get them reviewed at no cost for the plan itself. The one thing that we do ask for, because each individual lot is different, is the site plan, is we have them put together a site plan, because we don't know what kind of lot a homeowner has, but we can give them free plans. So that's what we're doing for residents to try to promote the ADU side.
Warren, not everyone knows what ADU is. Can you define ADU?
It's accessory dwelling units. It's been known as grandmother units. It's been accessory units, right? So they're now called ADU, accessory dwelling units by the state. So that's what we use that termination now.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
And just to piggyback off of what he said, so there's 3 different sizes. I think the biggest one is like 1,200 square feet, and then something like around 800, and the other one is around a little over 500. but they also have different designs. So you have some that are Spanish style, you know, all three sizes come with three different types of designs. And these are all architectural plans that already come with plumbing, electrical, structural. I mean, everything is done, so these plans would probably cost you up to about $12,000 to develop, and here the city's providing them for free. Because here we know that when somebody takes these plans, they've already been determined to be what we would want built here. If they're gonna build an ADU, this is something of quality that we would want here in the city. So I think the city, our staff did a great job doing that, making that affordable for them. So I really want to thank you guys for taking that extra step to do this for our residents.
It is very nice to have a design standard that's already approved and accessible to the public. You know, it's, I think the plans that we've come up with are very nice. And I think if they were constructed in somebody's neighborhood, that people would appreciate them. And it's nice to have that for our residents so they can go in and get right started on that versus having to go through the entire design and review process. So good job, you guys.
Are pictures of those plans available on our website?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. How would someone navigate the website to find them?
They'd go to our website and then go to the Development Service Department Planning, and then they can get the plans through either the planning side, and I believe they're also on the building side, to get the actual construction set. You can get a link on either page and get to those plans. And if you have any problems, you can contact the Development Service Department. Anyone in the department can help somebody navigate to those plans and get those free plans.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, if there's no other comments, I would like a motion in a second, please. Okay, we have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Comstock and a second from Councilman Flores. Our city attorney needs to read the ordinance now.
Thank you, Mayor. The ordinance before the City Council is ordinance number 2023-020, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending chapters 12.02, protection of interests within the right-of-way, 12.04, streets, and 12.08, curbs, gutters, sidewalks, asphalt, concrete, street pavement, and street lights of Title 12 of the Chino Municipal Code, and that's being read by title only and waiving further reading. Thank you.
Okay, please vote. The item passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Next is item number 19, under new business, introduction of ordinance number 2023-021, Community Services Parks and Recreation Commission Member at Large. This item is to approve the introduction of the ordinance to revise the Chino Municipal Code to change the member at large of the Community Services Parks and Recreation Commission to a mayor-appointed position. Staff report this evening will be provided by our city attorney, Mr. Fred Galante.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council and all those present. Before the council is a proposed ordinance that implements the council's directive from its October 10th workshop. And as announced by the mayor, the direction was to remove the commission member at large position and make that position appointed by the mayor with approval of the city council. And that is a process that is consistent with how the planning commission appointments are conducted. The Community Services Parks and Recreation Commission was established in 1992, providing for 3 members to be appointed by the mayor, 3 by the Chino Valley Unified School District, and 1 member at large appointed by the other 6 commissioners. And all of those appointments were to be ratified by the council, and that's the current process. Except in March 2020, an ordinance was approved removing the 3 school district appointees. Historically, the goal of the appointment procedures was to provide the school district a say in the selection of commissioners, since the school district allowed the city to use its facilities for community services programs. Since the school no longer allows the city to use those facilities, that historical need is no longer applicable. Although I understand the appointee, the last point that I would make, I understand the appointee for the at-large position has recently resigned, approval of this ordinance would not have had the effect of removing the incumbent serving in this position. Instead, that position would have remained on the commission until the end of the term for the at-large position. Thereafter, the next appointee for that seat would be appointed through this process, should the council wish to adopt this ordinance. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, council comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, then I would entertain a motion and a second. Motion from Councilman Burton, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote.
And if I may read the ordinance very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
The title. As you mentioned, it's ordinance number 2023-021, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending Chapter 2.38, Chino Community Services, Parks and Recreation Commission of the Chino Municipal Code, and that is being read by title only and waiving further reading. Thank you.
Okay, and we are missing one vote. Okay, the item passes unanimously. Item number 20, approve professional services agreement for engineering and design services, project number R2401. Award of professional services.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't know if the motion and the second and the roll call was announced for the last item.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Mhm.
Pardon me.
Because you interrupted me because I almost read the vote.
That's right.
Remember? Jeez,
My bad.
Fred. Item number 20, award a professional services agreement with Biggs Cardosa Associates Incorporated, Orange, California, for engineering, design, and bid support services for project number R2401, bridge along Euclid Avenue between State Route 71 and Pine Avenue. Staff report this evening will be provided by Michelle Henderson, our CIP Principal Engineer, and Hajan Lee, Director of Public Works. Ladies?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. For your consideration this evening is a professional services agreement for engineering and design services for the Euclid Avenue Bridge project with Biggs Cardosa Associates in the amount of $3,944,225.34. City staff solicited requests for proposals for professional consulting services for preparation of plans, specifications, and estimate for the design of a bridge along Euclid Avenue between State Route 71 and Pine Avenue. This segment of Euclid Avenue primarily consists of 2 lanes in each direction, separated by a dirt median. However, the roadway tapers to 1 lane in each direction at the existing bridge crossing of Chino Creek without a median. The existing bridge was constructed in 2006 and provides an 8-foot shoulder on each side with no dedicated pedestrian or bicycle facilities. Additionally, the bridge does not have the capacity to accommodate adequate flows during larger storm events. For this reason, flooding often results in closing this stretch of roadway for several days. Motorists are forced to take circuitous detours onto other city streets that do not have the capacity to handle such traffic. The proposed project will raise the profile of Euclid Avenue at Chino Creek to accommodate the free flow of stormwater from most storm events. The project will also add pedestrian and bicycle facilities to make it a multimodal corridor for all users. Some of the additional design considerations and constraints that make this a uniquely challenging project are listed here. With respect to management of traffic, the project will need to take into account the alignment and phasing such that traffic flow during construction is maintained. Additionally, the project will look at traffic volume forecasts so that the city can plan for the necessary capacity needed on this segment. Since the project is within the Prado Basin inundation zone, Permitting through the Army Corps of Engineers will be a necessary component. The location being surrounded with the presence of sensitive species further complicates the project's regulatory permitting. These elements will have a high impact on the bridge design. The selection of the pool elevation and hydraulic function of passing large storm events is also a critical component to the bridge design and must be evaluated against the environmental impacts just described, as well as impacts to the overall project costs. Until Euclid Avenue is relinquished to the city, investigative permits will need to be processed through Caltrans. Once relinquished, we do not anticipate any right-of-way constraints. As previously mentioned, the current bridge was constructed in 2006. Therefore, the project will look at feasibility of utilizing the existing bridge in conjunction with the new bridge elements. Careful consideration of impacts and access to the Prado Regional Park, the Prado Dog Park, and the Prado Olympic Shooting Park are also relevant to the project. And of course, obtaining funding for construction of the bridge will be a focus for the city, and several federal grant opportunities will be explored. On June 21st, 2023, City closed the proposal window on Planet Bids and received 4 proposals. After staff evaluation, including a round of interviews with the highest qualified consultants, the city has selected a consultant within the guidelines of the State of California Government Code and the city's purchasing ordinance. Staff recommends that City Council approve a professional services agreement for design and bid support services for City Project R2401 in the amount of $3,944,225.34 with Biggs Cardosi Associates, Inc. of Orange, California. Staff also recommends that City Council approve a design contingency of $394,423 for a potential agreement amount not to exceed $4,338,648.34. I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the efforts of our finance and purchasing staff, in particular Giselle Sandoval, who was successful in negotiating the contract price down from the initial proposed amount of $5.4 million. That was in order to meet the city's budget for this project. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Once completed, how many lanes will this bridge have in each direction?
The number of lanes will depend upon some of the traffic studies that will be run for the during the preliminary design for the project. At minimum, we are planning for at least 2 lanes in each direction.
Okay, plus bicycle and pedestrian.
Correct.
Okay, it's going to be a pretty big bridge. Would anyone like to address the council on this item? Okay, council comments, questions? Curtis?
Thank you, Mayor. How far south will this improvement go down? Will it go all the way down to Euclid Avenue, or I'm sorry, to the Highway 71, or will it stop at Pomona Rincon Road?
So the goal of the project is to raise the profile of the street in order to for the flooding to pass through. So with that, we estimate that the work will not go past Pomona Rincon Road. That the elevation will start approximately at Pomona Rincon.
Okay.
The increase.
And I would just request that since we're going down there and making the improvement on the roadway there, that they also improve the intersection at Pomona Rincon Road and also the entrance of the dog park. Since of the proximity is, it's right there, and it's extremely difficult if you've ever driven south and then driven west onto Pomona Rincon Road, how difficult it is when you come back off of Pomona Rincon Road and you try to go northbound on Euclid Avenue. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult with the amount of traffic. So I would just ask for an improvement when the construction begins or when they start the design work on that, to include that, because it's very difficult to come out of it. Maybe a traffic signal or whatever they deem appropriate for that, that would just be triggered by somebody coming off the roadway, so it's not red or green all the time. But it's very difficult to get in and out of there now as it is. The other thing, the cost on this is almost $4 million for the design, is that correct?
Correct.
And this isn't even the construction phase. So we're gonna pay somebody close to $4 million to come out and take a look at it and come up with a design. And then we're gonna have to go out to bid to actually have a construction company come in and actually build that bridge to span the tide, if you will. It's expensive. I didn't realize how expensive things are until I came onto the city council. When it comes to doing work, government work and on roads, streets, and having to deal with state highways and the bureaucracies that get involved and everybody that, all the different entities, it becomes very expensive and it becomes a headache, I think, more than anything else, because not a whole lot of people want to cooperate either. But the cost of doing business in a city these days, with the inflation costs, just the costs associated with doing business anywhere anyway, are ridiculously high. And I want the public to know that we do everything we can, I know our staff does, to try to get the lowest bid possible to get the best job product afterwards. But it's very, very difficult to go out and do jobs like this, knowing what the costs are to improve our infrastructure. And, you know, when the rubber meets the road, when people wonder why we're spending so much money, well, it's because the cost of business has gone up as well. So anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Piggybacking on that, the archery range and the dog park, I know the dog park land is not county land, but they lease it, and the shooting range is county land. So I would assume that we're going to get them to participate in the funding of the design of those intersections and also the funding of the improvements. I mean, we're going to be, the state's going to relinquish Euclid Avenue to us, but adjoining land that's owned by county or state should have some skin in this game as well. So we need to follow up on that. Karen?
Thank you, ma'am. I just want to explain to the public that it's acceptable for us to spend this kind of money prior to the relinquishment of Euclid Avenue. Can you explain that process, that that's legal for us to do? Correct? Yes. Right, City Manager?
Yes.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. As long as we don't actually do the construction until we actually take possession of the property, we could actually start the design work.
Yeah, just want to make that clear point for the public, obviously, so that, you know, even though we anticipate Euclid Avenue being relinquished to us, that we know that it's okay for us to spend that. And then I think this is a transportation project that is spoken about commonly. If you're a member of the council, member of the public, about us bridging and providing a safe passage for cars and bicyclists, you know, during unusual rain events. It's complicated by a lot of other entities that the mayor talked about. But if we have a shelf-ready project, then I think that helps us make it more competitive in seeking funding and grant funding in the future. So this is the first step with the design review, even though it's expensive, to make us more competitive, to seek more money to complete this construction. So thank you for your work on it.
Just as an FYI, we actually have a consultant from the companies here. If you would like to address the consultant, they could also answer any technical questions you might actually have at this time.
We also have Amr, and I see that he kind of moved to the front. I think he has some words of advice for us.
Mayor, I just wanted to add to that answer to your question, that it's fairly common for the cities to invest in highways that are owned by Caltrans. We're doing one bridge right now on Central Avenue. We're paying over $20 million for that bridge from our funds. And the reason for that is the use primarily helps the city residents. We're also doing that on Highway 71, where we're spending $3 million improving the off-ramps and on-ramps that allow us to again widen Pine Avenue and connect the Pine Avenue. So this is not unique. Now, obviously, we are getting this section of the roadway relinquished to us. But if it wasn't being relinquished to us, it still would be a good investment, because without this investment, we're not in line to get any funding, not from Sandbag, not from the federal government, and not from the state. So this will allow us to get in line, get those fundings. There was about 16 million of funding available for this segment that we weren't able to capture because we're so far behind in design. So I think this will all, so this is not unique that we're spending money on a state highway. We do that all the time.
Yeah, I didn't think it was unique. It was during my conversation with the city manager. Just want to make sure that the public is aware that we're following a good path of direction and things in order before, because technically we haven't received the relinquishment yet. So didn't want anybody to think that we were, going awry that way. So, but thank you, Amar, for the explanation. I agree with everything that's been said here tonight, not just by our staff, but by the mayor, Kurt, and you. This is a good thing for us moving forward.
Mark? No? Chris? Okay. Well, this will, once it's completed, we'll have a project that is what they call shelf-ready, which then will allow us to apply for certain grants and be more competitive, hopefully, in federal and state grants to get this built. Okay, with that, then I would entertain a motion in a second. Motion from Councilman Burton, second from Councilman Flores. Please vote. And the item passes unanimously. Okay, item number 21, approve a professional services agreement for Section 408 permit acquisition and other related regulatory permitting services associated with the Pine Avenue Stage 3 Project ST 203. Approve an agreement and other related regulatory permitting services associated with Pine Avenue Stage 3. Our staff report, once again, will be provided by Jesus Plasencia, our Assistant City Engineer, and Warren Morleone, our Director of Development Services.
Good evening again, Mayor and council members. According to the preserve-specific plan, Pine Avenue from Euclid Avenue to Hellman Avenue is a major arterial roadway that will be a total of 6 lanes with a raised landscape median when fully constructed in its ultimate condition. Roadway improvements include but are not limited to new pavement, striping, and various underground wet utilities. The construction of Pine Avenue is occurring in phases as development occurs throughout the preserve. In 2014, the city issued conditions of approval to Lewis as part of the Harvest residential project located at the northwest corner of Pine and Hellman Avenue. The conditions specified that Lewis is required to construct what are known as the Pine Avenue Phase 1 improvements, which are further broken up into 3 separate stages. The Phase 1 improvements extend from Euclid Avenue to Rincon Meadows Avenue and call for Pine to be widened to 4 lanes to increase traffic capacity in the area. Other improvements include an additional turn lane at the Pine-Euclid intersection to also increase capacity, plus raising the roadway grade to eliminate the existing dip between Rincon Meadows and Meadowhouse Avenues. To date, Lewis has completed stages 1 and 2 of the Phase 1 improvements as required by the Harvest conditions of approval, which with stage 3 consisting of the aforementioned raising of the roadway between Rincon Meadows and Meadowhouse Avenue. The city has approved the final design for stage 3, but staff is still working through the permitting process with the Orange County Flood Control District and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The raising of the roadway requires approvals from these agencies because grading activities will result in a modification to the Prado Dam flood protection area that's under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The city will be required to obtain a Section 408 permit from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, which is estimated to take approximately 8 to 10 months to obtain. Lewis, based on their conditions of approval, will have up to 1 year to commence construction from the date the city receives all jurisdictional approvals to start the project. On September 28, 2023, city staff solicited proposals through Planet Bids for Section 408 permit acquisition and other related permitting services associated with this project. This was done because city staff lacks extensive experience in obtaining approvals through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, which can be a lengthy and complicated process if not done correctly. The city received 2 proposals in response to the RFP from Ruth Villalobos and Associates and FEI Consulting Engineers. The 2 proposals were evaluated based on competence and professional qualifications in accordance with applicable codes and regulations. Ruth Villalobos and Associates, or RVA for short, was deemed the most responsive and responsible bidder based on their extensive experience dealing with the Army Corps of Engineers. RVA has obtained over 70 Section 408 approvals in their past work experience and previously worked with the city and Lewis to obtain Army Corps approvals for the construction of sewer pipelines and the sewer lift station in Prado Regional Park, which currently serves a large portion of the preserved community. Therefore, staff recommends the City Council approve an award of contract to RVA in the amount of $187,797 with a contract term of 1 year with the option to renew for 2 additional 1-year periods. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on item number 21? Seeing none, I'll turn it over to council for comments or questions. Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion and a second. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Comstock, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item number 22, approve the award of contract purchase order and appropriation for roof restoration project NC 242 and IB 249. This is to award a contract purchase order approval and appropriation for a roof restoration and replacement. Staff report this evening will be provided by Sylvia Avalos, bless you, Director of Community Services, Parks and Recreation. Sylvia?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. This action before you this evening is an award of contract, purchase order, and appropriation of roof restoration project for the City Hall South Building, formerly known as Old PD, and the 7th Street Theater roof replacement project. This current year, the building management budget provides funding for the 7th Street Theater roof replacement project. The 7th Street Theater existing roof system is 30-plus years old, and over the past several years, there has been an increase in roof leaks. Staff is seeking approval for the appropriation of $181,370.40 for the City Hall South Building roof restoration project. In August of 2023, Community Services, Parks and Recreation Administration staff relocated from City Hall to the City Hall South Building. This was necessary to provide additional staff workspace for various departments at City Hall. The City Hall South Building has been occupied by the Parks and Facilities staff for the past 10 years, and minimal building improvements have been made. The roof has needed repairs for quite some time and has been postponed as long as possible. With the relocation of the Community Services, Parks and Recreation Administration staff, those vacant offices are now being utilized and the roof leaks need to be addressed. Staff elected to combine these 2 projects to obtain the best pricing and prepare plans and specifications for the construction portion of both projects. The roofing material is being purchased from the Garland Company Incorporated. To obtain the best pricing for the projects, staff elected to purchase the materials directly from the roofing manufacturer, eliminating any contractor markup costs, thereby reducing the overall project cost. On September 7, 2023, staff published a formal notice inviting bid via the city's planning bids website. On October 5, 2023, 6 bids were received, with the lowest responsible bidder being R&R Roofing and Waterproofing Incorporated from Lake Elsinore, California. Staff is now requesting an award of construction contract in the amount of $149,590 to R&R Roofing Waterproofing Incorporated for both projects. authorization of expenditure of up to $22,438.50 for construction project contingencies for not to exceed potential contract amount of $172,028.50. Approval of a purchase order in the amount of $87,199.04 to the Garland Company Incorporated for the purchase of roofing material for the City Hall South Roof Restoration Project, and an appropriation in the amount of $181,370.04 to the Building Management Fund with a year-end transfer from the General Fund reserves for the City Hall South Roof Restoration Project. This concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on item number 22? Seeing none, turn it over to council for comments or questions. Seeing none, entertain a motion and a second, please. Motion from Councilman Lucio, second from Councilman Burton. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is mayor and council reports. I'll try to be brief with mine. Since the last council meeting on Wednesday, October 18th, I attended the Omnitrans Plans and Program Committee. Saturday, October 21st, I attended the Fire Department Open House, which was phenomenally successful, so congratulations. On Wednesday, October 25th, I attended the Fire District State of the District, and of course, it turned out phenomenal because they happen to have a really good employee that knows how to put on events. This employee was stolen from the city of Chino. I have to give my digs in, Chief. But it did turn out very, very nice. On Thursday, October 26th, I attended the Chino Ultra Authority Finance Committee. Friday, October 27th, I attended the Southern California Water Coalition Executive Committee Zoom meeting. Saturday, October 28th, I attended the Police Department Open House, which also turned out very, very nice. On Monday, October 30th, I attended Sheldon Boyd's retirement celebration. He was one of our chaplains to the PD and a minister of one of our local churches. Tuesday, October 31st, I attended the city's spooktacular event at Ayala Park. The attendance was absolutely amazing. I don't know if we've got an estimate on how many attended. Do we have any kind of estimate?
We're thinking 8,000.
8,000? It turned out really nice, and for the first time, we had 5 hot air balloons that did a glow. That was fun. On Wednesday, November 1st, I attended the Omnitrans Board of Directors meeting and the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority Board of Directors meeting. Thursday, November 2nd, I attended the Southern California Water Coalition's Board of Directors meeting and the annual awards dinner. Friday, November 3rd, attended the Senior Center November birthdays celebration, and then today, I met with some of our financial consultants regarding our budgetary condition and met with a construction company regarding a building of a local hotel. And then we had closed session prior to this meeting. Next, we have Mayor Pro Tem Comstock.
Thank you, Mayor. On October 23rd, I attended my one-on-one meeting with the city manager here at City Hall. Later that same day, I attended the Community Services Commission meeting here in the council chambers. On Wednesday, October 25th, I attended the State of the Fire District held at the Training Center, Mayor, which you've commented on. It was a very nice event. Chief, you should be proud of the event you hosted there. There's a couple fire board members here tonight, Ms. Evan Ramos and Mr. Luth. You guys did a great job with your video, and Mayor, your comments were very well received as well. I'm very, very proud of our public safety component here, which includes our police and fire working, together with our local medical. We have a very good fire department, and that was a day to celebrate. On October 30th, I attended my weekly meeting with the city manager, and later that day, I attended the retirement reception for Chaplain Sheldon Boyd that the mayor mentioned, held at the Chino Police Department. Chief Minson, you and your staff did a great job honoring Sheldon that day, and as the mayor has already mentioned, we wish him well in his retirement and his move to Florida so he can fish to his heart's desire there. October 31st, I also attended a Halloween spooktacular. I saw almost every member of the council there, except for you, Kurt, that night. I know you were there, but we just didn't cross paths that night.
He was helping
Yeah.
with the hot air balloons.
Nice, very good. So, again, a great event for families and kids. Kids look cute in their costumes. I saw several of our community services commissioners there that night, so thank you for the Halloween judging, your participation as well. That event is good, and it keeps getting better. On Thursday, November 2nd, I, along with Councilmember Lucio and our Assistant City Manager, Jackie Melendez, attended the Inland Empire Economic Partnership Turning Red Tape into Red Carpet Awards ceremony at the Mission Inn in Riverside. That was an event where this local chapter of the Economic Partnership with local businesses honors businesses that take technology in innovative ways and celebrate companies or businesses that use these technologies to save us money, advance, help people just in their daily lives and tasks. And our very own Real-Time Crime Center was actually up for nomination on one of those awards, and that technology and the advancement of what it does for us in helping solve crimes and keeping our community safe. Although we didn't win the nomination this year, we did get mentioned as a runner-up, and that was a nice evening. We also shared the evening that night with our district supervisor, Kurt Hagman, who was being recognized at that same event. It was a very nice evening, and it was nice to attend. So congratulations, Chief, to you and your staff for what you're doing with that technology, and keep up the great work. It really is paying dividends to our community, and it's making our police officers more efficient, which also saves money. On November 6th, I attended my weekly meeting with the city manager and staff, and that brings me here to tonight, where I attended the closed session with staff and the rest of the council. Mayor, I'm very happy you're back. Although I don't mind pinch hitting for you occasionally, like anything else, like with Neil, Jerry, and calling a football game or running a council meeting, you make it look flawless. So thank you for being. We're happy to have you back. To You Choose, if you have a chance to attend the You Choose event this weekend, please do so. Every penny they raise will go right back here into our local community to serve our local children here. And I like events like that. And Richard and Lisa Montiel are so committed. Chief, you better be careful, because I've watched those kids since they were very young. They are now like grown men practically. You guys have got your work cut out for you this coming Saturday, and I'll see you guys there. And then last but not least, Mayor, I've been whispering into Kurt's ear. I mentioned to Danny from Painted Dough that as a former police officer, I've never met a donut that I don't like. And I've just been eyeballing those donuts sitting over there, almost like salivating. They're like tempting me. So they're here. Some of them are different. Let's pop them open later. Everybody enjoy them, because we don't want them to go to waste. And Chief, whatever doesn't get eaten here tonight, just take it to our staff. I know that the way to police officers' hearts are through their stomachs. So that concludes my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Good report, Karen. Councilman Burton, you also have item number 23, which is a community support fund contribution.
Yes, I am recommending the city council approve a contribution to the to the Chino Kiwanis Club.
Okay, motion and a second, please. Motion from myself, second from Mayor Pro Tem Comstock. Please vote. And your item passes unanimously. Your report?
Thank you very much. On the 18th, I attended the Planning Commission meeting. The 21st, along with the mayor, we went to the Chino Valley Fire Annual Open House. And it was very successful, Chief. I could tell the amount of people were there. I think it was probably your biggest one so far. There was absolutely no parking at all anywhere around the fire station. We had to have a secret location to park our vehicles in order to access the event. But I've got to tell you what, it was outstanding. It was really warm that day too. You guys had plenty of water out there for everybody, and I would have liked to have seen you turn your hoses on for the kids, but that didn't happen. But they did have hot dogs out there. What a great event. Congratulations on that. On the 23rd, meeting with the city manager, then I met with a citizen about a community issue here in City Hall. After that, I attended the Community Services Commission meeting with Mayor Pro Tem Comstock. The 25th, I attended the State of the Fire District luncheon. Again, Chief, congratulations. Sarah and Harvey, great job. You guys are doing phenomenal work on the fire district. I appreciate all the hard work that you guys put into that. Thank you very much. The 28th, the Chino Valley Business Expo, I attended at the shops with the Chamber of Commerce and our very own Chris Kennedy from our Economic Development area, and then the police open house also on the 28th. Chief, that was a great event. You had a lot of people there. It was much cooler, and I appreciated that. On the 30th, I met with another citizen regarding a community concern, and then I met with members of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. Later in that afternoon, the Police Department retirement of Chaplain Sheldon Boyd. And Chief, that sure is a great program that you have going on over there. The chaplaincy program really helps keep our officers grounded. Just having that additional resource. And Chief, from the fire department, I know you guys have that as well. It's a great resource. The 31st, the Halloween Spooktacular. I was there, Mayor Pro Tem, but I was stuck underneath a balloon. And but it was pretty neat. I really enjoyed the day. I had my family out there, and my grandson was on all the great rides. The rides that were out there were spectacular. If you didn't go, you really missed it. The 3rd, I attended the Chino Valley Leadership Collaborative at the Chamber of Commerce. On the 6th, my meeting with the city manager. Then this morning, I attended a Veterans Day celebration at Howard Cattle Elementary School, where there was almost 600 students that just really appreciated the veterans that were there, and they were celebrating with them. It was really a neat event, and they invited me. I went, and I'm so happy that I did. I got to see my grandson who attends Howard Cattle, and he was sitting very close to me, and he kept saying, "There's my grandpa," right there, to his friend, and that was a lot of fun. Closed session before tonight's meeting, and that's all I have.
For someone who is supposed to stay off their leg and be calm, you've done way too much. But thank you. Councilman Flores.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. October 20th, I had a chance to play softball with our Chino Police Department in the annual Special Olympic fundraiser softball tournament, and we went undefeated, right, Chief?
That's yes.
Yes, we'll stick to that, sir. On the 24th of October, I had a chance to be a science fair judge at Sycamore Academy. So thank you to Board President Sonia Shaw for connecting me with them, and had a great time out there. And just to see those boards just took me back to when I was in elementary, and putting a science fair together myself. So that was fun. On the 25th of October, along with the rest of the council, I attended the State of the Fire District Luncheon. Again, as was mentioned, Steve, Sarah, Chief, great job, great event. I will say, although you guys didn't necessarily contribute to it, but every time I've been to a big event like that where there's a centerpiece, do not sit on the table with Mayor Eunice, because she always finds a way to take that home. So that's pretty cool. So I was happy to see that tradition keep going.
I really wanted that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Later that evening, I attended the Boxing Foundation board meeting, and I will say one of the hot topics of that discussion was next year's fights, the one that I participated in, and there was about maybe 7 people who threw in one particular name in the hat. And that was, let me see if I can remember, Chief Dave Williams. So we're planting that seed right now, and I just want to give you a heads up, Chief. Let's see, on the 28th of October, I had a chance to see one of our own fighters, Daniel Cruz, fight in a professional fight here locally, and not too far from here. But there was fighters from everywhere, from all across the country. We had fighters from London, fighters from Argentina, fighters from Mexico, and he had a chance to, again, he was a main event that day, and won the fight, our own very Daniel Cruz, so now he's 7-0. So there's a lot of big future for Mr. Cruz. So I'm happy I was there and had a chance to experience that.
Are you going to spar with him next time?
Not me. On the 30th of October, I had a chance to go to the chaplain's retirement as well, and again, another great event. But I will say one thing I was surprised about is one thing he mentioned was when he gets to Florida, he plans to work with their police department as well, continue the same work that he learned here in Chino. So Shout out to him and his family and just the good work he's doing. On the 31st of October, I attended the Halloween Spectacular. Again, another great event. I got to say, this time the ticket line, it was very long, but our staff was working so fast. You weren't waiting more than 5 minutes on that line, so that was really special to see. On the 2nd of November, I attended the Southern California Water Coalition Annual Awards Dinner with our city manager and our mayor. And I want to give a special shout out to Steve Eli, who was honored with the Kathy Cole Award. So it was just special to see one of our very own from the region, be awarded that award. On the 4th of November, I attended the Oasis Optometry 1-year anniversary. They're over off of Schaefer and Euclid. So it was just special to see them, just growing and, making a name for themselves in the optometry business here in the city of Chino. And with that concludes my comments. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Lucio?
Yes. On the 24th, I had a meeting with the city manager. 25th, I attended the Chino Valley State of the Fire District. Like they said, it was a great event. On the 31st, I attended a meeting with the city manager, and then later on that night, I attended the Halloween Spectacular. I will say that the balloons were a big hit. I think it was the best event that we've had, and I think it was better that we put it in the middle instead of out to the side. I think it was a better location for the event. And then on the 2nd, I attended the dinner for turning red tape into the Red Carpet Awards. We got second place, but I'm challenging our staff to continue to be innovative, continue to start applying for more of these awards so that we get our name out there. And I think it's great to see what other cities are doing. So I think that's the big part of these events is going over there, seeing what other cities are doing and seeing where they're winning events and what categories are. And a lot of it has to do with economic development. A lot of it has to do with workplace, recruiting the workforce. So it's something that we obviously need to continue to do here, and we probably should be working closer with our chamber with that. On the 3rd, I attended the Inland Empire Economic Partnership. They have a regional leadership academy. And this particular month, we went to go visit the Southern California Gas Company facility over in Downey. And just some of the new technology that a lot of people don't realize what the gas company is doing, but they actually have a hydrogen house that they have there that runs on 100% solar, 100% hydrogen. And it's all self-contained, the technology that they have there, even though they only have one house, and the house was built by a company out in San Bernardino called Connect Homes. They ended up putting 6 modulars together and built a home, and they built it in 8 hours it took them to put it all together. House is absolutely gorgeous. But the technology that they have there in place can actually power 100 homes. And so they want to lead the way, and they want to share the technology. They say that this house is visited by people throughout the world to come to look at the technology, and obviously they're sharing it because they want people to lead and utilize, because even though natural gas does burn cleaner than regular fuel, it got a bad name because it's got gas attached to it. So whenever you say gas, people look at it in a negative connotation. So they were instrumental in switching all our buses to natural gas. A lot of our 18-wheelers went to natural gas. And a lot of our other public transportation went to natural gas, but now they have to switch off of it. And one thing that I did talk to them about is I have both. I have an electric car and I have a gas car, natural gas vehicle. And the natural gas vehicle is by far more reliable than the electric car, in my opinion. One, it really truly, like if you filled up your gas tank, it truly does get 210 miles, where an electric car, if you charged it, it says 210 miles, but you really don't get 210 miles because depending on your speed and if you're using the air conditioner, your miles go down. It doesn't take you 30 minutes to fully charge your car. It's like a regular gas station. When you go there, you're there for a couple minutes. The price of natural gas compared to regular gas, you can get natural gas for $2.29 a gallon, and really it cost me about $12 to fill up the gas tank on my natural gas vehicle. So I mean, to me, it's a lot more convenient. But they're switching away from it. They're going to hydrogen. They're trying to now, the technology they have, it doesn't just work off of fresh water. It also works off of recycled water. They can also utilize seawater because it does have a desalter system to it. But it's just amazing some of the technology that they have in place and some of the things that they're looking for to do. And they all obviously offer it to developers that come in. Right now it's expensive, just like all new technology is. It's expensive when it first starts, and then as time goes on and people start using it and the technology gets cheaper and cheaper. But it's something that definitely we'll be probably looking into in the future, is to do these type of homes and then make them 100% green. But it was great to see. I know Karen's interested in doing this probably next time, because every month we, in this Leadership Academy, we go visit different sites that, so that we have a better understanding of local government. So we'll visit the gas company, we'll visit the electric company, we'll visit a steel company, we'll visit different cities so that we have an understanding where everything and how everything comes together. But, and at the end, we end up going to Sacramento, and we go and we obviously talk to some of our local politicians up there and try to get some stuff done. But it's a great program. So far, I've attended two of their classes, and both of them have been very, very productive, and they've all showed me different aspects of things and new technology. So I had a good time. I also want to thank our veterans, because without their sacrifices, we wouldn't have the freedom that we have today. So if you see a veteran, if you know a veteran, thank them, because our freedom wouldn't exist if it wasn't for them. And one of the other things I want to talk about is the LA County Sheriff's Department, within a 24-hour period, lost 4 of their employees to suicides. 3 of them ended up taking their life. That were active. 2 were males, 1 was a female. And then the 4th person that took their life was also a former law enforcement officer who retired. But as we all know, especially during the holidays, please keep an eye on your employees. Please keep an eye on your relatives. If you see that they're depressed, please take the time to talk to them. If they need help, get them help, because this was just it's just a terrible time to see 4 people take their lives like this within a 24-hour period. And we're in that time period where the holidays are hard for individuals, and this is a common time that people do this. So just go out there and make sure you guys really pay attention to folks and really take the time to see if they're in mourning or if they're not feeling well. Just make sure that you make yourself available. But on a brighter note, I want to congratulate my son. He officially committed to Cal Poly St. Louis Obispo, so he'll be wrestling there. So he's going to be moving forward. And then tomorrow he'll be wrestling in who's #1 in the OC All-Stars. So he'll be going there and competing in Anaheim at Anaheim High School tomorrow. So hopefully he'll win his 3rd year in a row for the #1 at his weight for the Orange County area. So, and that's all I have.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
City Manager Reich.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. First, I'd like to thank the Community Services, Parks and Recreation Department for their work on the Halloween Spooktacular, planning that every year. Every year it gets bigger and it gets better. The new location this year was fantastic. The balloons were an extra added bonus. Hopefully we'll have them back year after year, and maybe more and more. Maybe a write-up, maybe. I think that would be really fun. But also the Police Department and Public Works for their support of that event. That event doesn't happen, overnight. It's a long time planning. And it is just a fantastic event for our community. It's safe, and there's something for everybody. So I want to thank them for that. Next, I want to thank our employees who are also veterans and thank them for their service. And we have several veterans who are employed with the City of Chino, so I want to thank them for their service and everything that they've done for us. There is an event at Prado Park this weekend. It's called the Country Campout. So our residents should be on the lookout for a little extra heavy traffic on Saturday, probably starting 9:10, no, probably around 11 o'clock and then the event itself starts with a concert at 1:15 p.m. and the concert will go several concerts during the day all the way until 10 p.m. So there'll probably be a lot of traffic coming out of Prado Park again after 10 p.m. And then finally today, Jackie and I were coming back from a meeting, and our Public Works crews, I don't think they get enough credit for what they do. They had dug 2 large holes in the ground. One of our employees was in the hole, and they were fixing, I think it was a water valve. But our Public Works team, they really do a lot of fantastic work. The skill they have to open up 2 gigantic holes in our street and have them closed up by the end of the day is amazing. So I want to thank them for that work that they do every day. And that's all I have for tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we do have a commitment from the balloon people to come back. And I challenged the main guy that's organizing it to bring us some shaped balloons next year. So he would like to do that, as well as possibly consider a couple of balloons that are tethered, that people could take rides, you know, up in the air and right back down again. So we'll see, but that area that you had the balloons in, he said actually could hold about 50 balloons. If you're brave enough to have that many there, that would be absolutely phenomenal. So we'll see what.
Volunteers.
Yeah, you need a lot of volunteers. I have to say, poor Curtis. My husband and I own a hot air balloon, but we retired it several years ago. So I personally know how much work it is to set those up and put them away. And Curtis actually experienced that. It is a lot of work to do those balloons. So we will have them again next year, Linda. City Attorney Galante.
Just want to concur with the comments about the State of the Fire District event. It was exceptional and really well put together. And then a shameless plug for my presentation next week on Planning 101 on Tuesday at 6 p.m. in the same location. So it will be riveting, I'm sure.
Are you going to bring donuts?
If that is the desire, I will bring some donuts. Whatever will keep people entertained.
Keep us awake. Okay, thanks, Fred. Chief Menson.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few comments to talk about. First, on the consent calendar were 2 grants that you authorized the acceptance of. One of them was the Office of Traffic Safety, the STEP grant for $198,000. These funds are primarily going to be used for DUI education and enforcement. With the death of Officer Russ Miller on February 1st, 2000, DUI education enforcement will always be a priority for the Chino Police Department. So the majority of these funds are going to go towards that. The second grant that you authorized acceptance of was the Office of Traffic Safety Motorcyclist Safety Education and Training Program. So this grant was created to educate and provide training to the community to ride in motorcycles by conducting hands-on motorcycle safety training classes. And so we actually have our first class that's going to be scheduled on Saturday, December 2nd. It'll start at 7:30 a.m. and go till 2 p.m. Now that the grant was accepted tonight, we're going to post the details and how to sign up on our social media tomorrow. It's going to be held at the Living Waters Church at 6010 Walnut. The Chino Police Officers Association is actually going to go out there with their barbecue trailer. They're going to barbecue for the participants and provide them lunch. So we're excited to be able to provide this community outreach. It's about 24 people that we have that the class can hold. So our officers have been received the training to be instructors, and we're excited to launch this off. So, and then the next thing is, as you know, crime continues to increase in California, and Chino is unfortunately not immune from this trend. But I want you to know the Chino Police Department continues to be proactive in preventing crime. However, when it does occur, our detectives investigate it, and they do everything possible to arrest the offenders, even if that takes them going pretty much throughout anywhere in Southern California to track down these criminals. A recent example of this was this last Friday. Our detectives partnered with the California Highway Patrol's Organized Retail Theft Task Force to address ongoing shoplifting that's taking place at our local retail businesses. During this operations, we partnered with loss prevention agents at a bunch of different these retail businesses, and it was, I guess we'll call it successful, as in they apprehended several people for shoplifting where they were arrested. You know, we don't control what happens to them after we arrest them and book them in the jail, but we will continue to be proactive in disrupting this crime and using all resources we have available to really send the message of don't come to Chino to commit these types of crimes. We are seeing a significant crime trend here in Chino with theft, and specifically related to retail theft. And I'll be back here in January to give you more of an overview of where we stand as a city with crime. But to give you one example, we've had one business that had 50 reported shoplifting incidents since March. We've arrested a lot of those, And we're working with the businesses how we can reduce that and prevent those. But just when it comes to retail theft, historically, we see during the holidays is where retail theft, it increases. So we're going to continue to be having these operations and partnering with our allied agencies to go out and make these arrests. So we're also setting up meetings with the businesses, the retail businesses, the loss prevention agencies, and coming up with a really collaborative effort to combat this. And again, we want to send the message is don't come to Chino to commit these crimes. And then just lastly,
I apologize.
Sure.
Getting back to the retail, I know that we have a dedicated detective bureau and special enforcement team. Do we also have a dedicated team for retail thefts with the increase that's going on and within our city alone? Do we have a dedicated team doing nothing but that and investigating that?
No, we don't have the resources right now to actually have a dedicated detectives to be assigned that. It is part of their caseload that they're assigned these types of crimes, and it is one detective that's taken the lead on this. But he also has a multitude of other types of crimes that he's responsible for to follow up on.
And when you come back, are you going to speak about maybe organizing a dedicated team, or maybe you can do that for us? Let us know what it looks like and what the cost may be?
Will do. Yes, definitely. That's it is something, obviously, we want businesses to come here to Chino, and economic development is a priority. And to, the amount of theft, we met with the manager at Stater Brothers last week, and listening to him, the amount of theft that they have each quarter, it's considerable.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then just lastly, I'd like to thank the veterans as well. I'm honored to be able to participate in the ceremony coming up on Saturday. I've actually invited my dad, who is a veteran, to attend. He's never attended this ceremony before, so looking forward to that. So that is all the comments I have, unless you have any questions.
I hate to blindside you, but you're probably aware of it, and I'm particularly concerned about it. A friend of mine received one of those calls about supposedly her grandchild was in an accident, being held. And I think the way the gal handled it was quite genius. Keep them on the line and get down to the PD. But for people that are victimized with these phone calls that supposedly someone has a grandchild or a grandchild's in jail or something, what do you recommend for to people who get these weird phone calls?
To immediately do not send money, do not do anything to call the police department. And we haven't had any of these. I haven't heard of anything in our city in some time, but they have in surrounding areas. And they will tell them is to not call the police department, or to do other. There's so many scams taking place, whether it be via emails, phone calls, text messages. And the biggest thing is to call the police. If you're not sure, if you don't know, is to call the Chino Police Department. We will look into it. If we determine there's a crime, we will follow up on the phone number that's being used. We'll investigate it if we believe if there's a crime that's occurred. We can write search warrants for all those phone numbers.
Well, amazingly, this gal was able to keep the person on the phone and actually jumped in her car and drove down to PD, and 2 officers happened to be in the parking lot. So she put it on speaker, but the person calling didn't know they were on speaker. The officers actually tried to call and get a hold of the granddaughter, ended up getting a hold of her dad to verify that the girl was safe. But gosh, if she hadn't have done that, and in a panic, when you think one of your relatives is hurt or being held hostage or whatever, it's a very frightening circumstance.
It is, especially, for those of us that have kids. I have my daughter that's away at school at another state, and so you worry about that. So yeah, you get that phone call, and these people these criminals, they pull on your heartstrings to try to victimize you and get money from you. It's really what they're wanting is money.
Yeah, I've thought about it a lot. What would I do if I got that call and couldn't find out that the person was really sick? What do you do in those circumstances? It would be very, very difficult to just hang up because you don't know.
Right.
It would be very, very scary. So if that happens to someone, then they should definitely contact you or go down to PD
Yes.
and seek your assistance.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Yes.
Chief, real quick, as Linda had mentioned, we've got that large event going on down at Prado this weekend, I understand it's a county-run event because it's a county park. How involved is our police department going to be in that? Are we going to have boots on the ground walking through the event? Are we going to be just doing traffic control? What's our involvement actually going to be at the county park?
Yeah, so we're going to have 6 of our traffic officers, our motor officers. They're going to be assigned to the exterior of the event, the surrounding streets, dealing with the traffic flow. And then we're going to have 3 officers and a sergeant assigned actually on foot on the interior as security. They also, the venue will also have their own on-site security that will be on there. So we're going to have in total of 10 officers working the event. All of the promoter is paying for all of the officers' overtime expenses to work this event.
That was my next question. I appreciate that. And being a county park, they allow the alcohol, is that correct?
That is correct. They have to go through the licensing, but yes, they
Right,
do.
but I'm sure the alcohol is going to be flowing at this country western event.
Yeah, they're selling up to 4,000 tickets. For those of us that work the events there, whether it be soccer games or picnics, we've seen a large amount of people at that park. It's a large park, so we're not anticipating any problems. But if there are, we will be there and working the event.
Yep. Thank you, Chief.
Kevin, there's only really one way in and out of that park unless they open up Johnson by the stables there. Are they going to open that second entrance for people coming out of there?
I don't think there's a plan. There's not a plan, to my understanding, unless you know Johnson yet, to open that up. I think the advantage we'll have going for us, it ends at 10 o'clock. So the traffic, I know we get a lot of traffic on Euclid Avenue, but by 10 p.m. it should be died off. The majority of that traffic will be leaving the venue. So it'll be stacked up. It'll be the queue line to pull out of there. It's a long, we'll be trying to get out it'll take some time.
And no signal.
There's
Then
no
people
signal.
going south, and they're going to have to cross Euclid.
Well, we're going to have, obviously, our officers will be working it. If we find that we need to make them a right turn only to get cars out of there, we'll do that as well.
It's awfully dark. I hope they
Yes,
bring
it's
some
really dark.
auxiliary lighting down there for that exit.
But just be aware, they may, at the last minute, open up Johnson, and that'll put people right out on Pine where it's very narrow and people go really fast.
Right.
So if that happens, that's going to be another big problem area.
Hey, Kevin, just to piggyback off of the theft that we were talking about, and looking at some of our crime stats, and it obviously lists us as I think that we ended up getting like a C, and some of the other neighboring cities have A's. But in looking at that, the reality is we handle every single theft-related call, whether the district attorney or the state of California is going to prosecute it. We will go out there and take a report, and we'll try to catch the criminals. Where a lot of these cities are failing to even respond out there to take these criminal report calls, and at the same time it beats us up, because then the people in Sacramento can say, well, look, we lessened 47 and 57, and there's really no rise in crime, when the reality is the rise in crime is out of control, but people aren't responding or writing reports anymore. So therefore, there's no documentation of it, and then people can look at it and say, well, because there's no report, it's not happening. But I want to commend your officers for, even though some of these cases will not be prosecuted, that you guys are still going out there, you guys are still taking these reports, you guys are still investigating these crimes. So that, one, it lets our owners of our businesses know that we care, and we're going to keep continuing to go out there. And even if we have to arrest a person, move them, cite them, and release them over at the jail facility over Rancho Cucamonga, then that's what we're going to do. But make it as inconvenient for these crooks to come here and commit crimes, as opposed to some of our neighboring cities that don't even respond out there, and these people know that they can get away with it and continue to do it. So I want to commend your officers for that, and I want to tell you that I know that this council here fully supports that you guys go out there, and even if it gives us a lower rating, I would rather have a lower rating that's accurate than a higher rating that's inaccurate. So I commend you and your officers for that.
Thanks, Councilman Lucy. I know, I spoke on the one business that's had 50 reported thefts since March, and this is a chain business, and they have another business in another city, and they have told us that in that city, the police department doesn't even respond to their theft calls. So we have a lot of new officers, and we train them. We will take the reports because we want to know what the issues we have for our residents. right? That'd be a simple, of just a bike stolen out of their front yard. We want to know about that, we want to report that, and we'll take the crime report because we want to be able to address it. And that's how we're going to see where we have problems at and address, and where we're going to devote resources. So thank you, Councilman, I appreciate the support.
Well, we appreciate all of your hard work. And we too want the word to get out in the criminal activity. Just don't come to Chino. You're going to get caught, you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Williams.
Mayor, council, staff, and community members. Let me just piggyback on something about the concert. I do want to let you know that they also are going to be having additional EMS personnel at that event. So we are aware of that event, and they've assured us that they're going to have their own EMS division, if you will, to handle hopefully anything that happens inside there. So, but we are poised and ready as well to deal with anything on the medical end. Our open house, what a great success for us. I think leading in the year prior to COVID, I think the most we've ever had was about 500 at the top. And this year we had over 2,000. So thank you to all the community members that came out. Again, I've said this from the very beginning since I was appointed as a fire chief. These are your fire stations. This is your training department. So come on out, any event we have, and see what we have going on and how we can assist you the best. So thank you to all those community members and dignitaries that showed up. State of the District, what a wonderful event. We do have, well, let me first thank the city for getting people trained up so that we could come over and entice them to help us be as good as this.
You just have to rub that in, don't
As
you?
good as, well, we just want to take a page from the city of Chino, and so we thank you for your support. I will say that this is the first time that we did an event where we had a luncheon, where we charged for lunch. And as a result of all the support and the hard work through Ms. Rita Pro, we were able to get well over $20,000 that comes back to our Fire Foundation. That's significant for us because it really goes back into 100% of it goes back into the community in the way of our AED program primarily. So business owners that are out there, if you're not aware, we have a program where we will provide you with an AED and all the training that goes along with that. There are a couple little provisions that you need to meet. It's very easy to do. Please reach out to the fire district, and we'd like to partner with you to get an AED into your business. We are currently since 2017, we're at our 42nd, I believe 41st for sure, possibly 42nd person in our community that is alive and thriving with us because of the great work of not only our personnel, but the courage that the community has had to engage and start CPR and grab those AEDs and put them to work. So again, it's all really full circle. So we thank you for Ms. Rita Pro, and we thank you for the success of our program, in part due to Chino. November 14th, big day for us, for any of the council and for you, Mayor specifically, and Ms. Linda Reich. Dr. Reich, if you're able to make it out to the Board of Supervisor meeting, that's supposed to be the day that we might get information to indicate whether or not we will be participating in the ambulance program. So again, I don't have any more than that. Just if you are available, I hate to see you drive out there and then not make a decision, but I would hate to really see you not out there and then make a decision and you not be there, or maybe even have some input if you have an opportunity to say something, if that's your decision.
Is it going to be definitely on their agenda?
Well, my understanding that it is, and so obviously we have to keep looking at it in advance. Mayor, here's the thing. We've been told that a decision has been coming for 4 months, I think, and so I think this is really it, but I think we're there.
We'll be there, definitely.
December 13th, I know it's a little ways out, but Make a Child Smile is coming up, and I would encourage you to have, Chino PD has always been a great supporter of that, and any council members. It's a great opportunity for any public safety members who would like to, if you've never done it, Chief Menson, if any of your staff have never done it, it's a really good opportunity to have members of your staff come walk with a child who goes through the store. And those children are selected by members of the school district that might not have all the gifts and the abilities that the rest of us may have. And so it's pretty neat to walk through with a young person, and they're picking out items, and you think they're going to be picking them from themselves because they don't have much, and they're picking them for their sisters, their brothers, their mom. So it's a really neat experience to have if you've never had it, so I'd encourage you to participate.
What time is that going to be, Chief?
Oh, I'm going to have to get back to you on the time. I'm usually there early in the morning, like at 6 or 7. I don't know the exact time frame, but I'll get it for you.
It's at Walmart again?
Actually, I might have it on my, I'll have to chat. I'll get with you after the council, and I'll get it for you.
Is it Walmart again?
It is, correct, yeah.
Okay.
And then with veterans, I did want to let the council know and the community know, the Chino Valley Fire District it's been a long-term passion of mine. I kind of have always said I'm the running joke in my family. I have 8 brothers and sisters. The top half of all my siblings served in the military, even my sister, so I'm kind of the joke that, hey, even your sister served, Dave, you didn't serve. The point is that I believe in our military, I believe in what they stand for, and have felt for a long time that there are a lot of military members coming out of the military that don't always fall on good footing. They've served our country and now they're looking for jobs, or they're dealing with PTSD, as maybe Councilmember Lucio said with some of the law enforcement side. They're dealing with things that we can't even imagine. So we have put a group together within the Chino Valley Fire District of 4 of our military members. They're members of our department, various branches, and we're looking to create a crosswalk program for those military members who are coming out of the military that want to be in the fire service. We want you to come to Chino Valley Fire and work for us. We're going to try to get you to train. We know that there are opportunities within the military. It's called PALS, I think, something like that. Your last year in the military, they will provide you opportunities in most of the branches to prepare for your exit. We're trying to partner with them to say, hey, come, we want you here. We want to give you the opportunity, if you wish to be in the fire service, to be with Chino Valley Fire. So we're excited about that. Last but not least, and probably the most importantly, so I did grow up in Bell Gardens, and I grew up boxing. It kept me off the streets. I was a pretty restless, punchy kid, no pun intended, and I was like a little unbridled pony. But the good thing is, Councilman Flores, I'm 50 years old and I'm still a paramedic. I think I would be better served as being your cut man. So we'll leave it at that. So that's all I have for my report.
I don't know, Dave, maybe you and Chris can take on 2 boxers. Thanks, Dave. Okay, with that then, I just put away all my paperwork. Got all excited about all the reports. With that, we will adjourn to our next regular council meeting. I'm stalling till I get to my page. That'll be held on Tuesday, November 21st at 6, with closed session no earlier than 4 if necessary. And don't forget that we have our Veterans Ceremony this weekend, Saturday at 11 o'clock. With that, we are adjourned.